I've been hearing talks about this about this Naji interview with Ryan Garcia. I've been seeing it pop around a few places, and y'all sent it to me, and y'all wanted me to talk about it. And actually, I'm a little burnt out on the subject, so I'm actually gonna do this backwards. I'm gonna start with actually Ryan Garcia. I know people want to talk about Naji and him doing the interview and all that other stuff, and we're gonna get to that. But first, let's get to Ryan Garcia talking about Jake Paul. And when he seen that Tank Davis was fighting Jake Paul, he said boxing is really WWE or something like that. And I wanted to comment right there. I just didn't make the video at the time, but the audacity of him saying that. Because if you look under close analyzation, the truth of the matter is Ryan Garcia is in boxing under the same pretenses that Jake Paul is here. If you take a good look at Ryan Garcia is only in boxing because he's Latin and he looked like a backstreet boy. That's his biggest asset. That's his main asset. And that's his driving force to even being popular, being relevant, or even being interviewed at the end of the day. It's nothing that Ryan has done inside the ring. It's not like Ryan has showed this amazing skill set. It is his presence online and the fact that he looks like a backstreet boy that makes him have any type of motion in boxing. Other than that, Ryan ain't done squat in boxing. Literally nothing. Okay? He was barely a title holder. And you're not a real title holder until you had a defense anyway. And under that, Ryan is a complete nobody in boxing who's been surely riding off the fact that he think it's something that 16 and 15-year-old girls think he's cute. And somehow the boxing world wants that to translate over into boxing or to mean something to boxing fans, when the only thing that means something to you is throwing some leather. And at the end of the day, the best he came out with was beating Luke Campbell, which he squeaked by and act like a total groupie and shocked that he even won in the first place. But it's just the entire fact that that's the only time he got his hands on the title. He ended up losing that title because he's talking about some mental health and whatever and whatnot. The point is, Ryan ain't done nothing in boxing to have nobody interview him and have nobody listening to him on no type of real level other than to talk shit about other people. That's about it. And that's why that's all people like him does. That's all people like him do. That's all people like T.O. do. Because truthfully, boxing has left them behind. The only reason why they stand up with the crowd is because of the people that they trying to take aim at and the disrespect they may represent towards some fighters that people don't like. All that is 100% facts. Other than that, there's no reason for Ryan to exist in boxing. Look how long he's been in boxing. He ain't done squat. He's nothing. What is he popular for? Because he did what? Because he ended up fighting who? Okay, and he has this spectacular round where he did what with who? Absolutely nothing. He's here because he looked like a fucking 80s backup dancer. I'm dead fucking serious, bro. There's no other reason. So, when you look at it, he's the fucking first Jake Paul. So the nerve of him talking about what's WWE, get out of here. You literally are only relevant in boxing because your people think that people thinking that you're cute means something somewhere in the boxing world. And the only thing it means is that you can get people to watch you. And as we know, boxing is a whore and they'll take anybody that watches anybody. You don't have to be nobody or you don't have to be legit in this game. Just be able to put asses in seats. And he's even lacking in that. Okay, his internet so-called love, that don't transfer over to no fucking ticket sales. It don't. So he was the first fucking Jake Paul. We had a nerve to be talking about Jake Paul. That's why he got something to say about Jake Paul. I haven't watched this interview. I don't know what they saying on here, but I know he was talking about Jake. But I find that ironic and funny as hell because that's exactly, you know what, if you ask me, Jake Paul done more for boxing, and Jake Paul has done more in boxing. Facts. Hey, look, and I don't even like Jake Paul like that. But it's getting to a fact that I'm fighting something for no reason. Boxing wants to be this back alley hooker. So I'm going to let her. You know what I'm saying? With boxing and all this shit I be talking about, that's equivalent to a dude trying to make a hoe a housewife. That's what the fuck I've been trying to do with boxing. Man, I got a hoe, let it be a hoe. You know? I gotta let a hoe be a hoe. Obviously. And that's what boxing is. She a bitch you can't take home to mama, but you love the shit out of her. Fact. That's probably the best analogy of boxing you ever gonna hear. Fuck it. Best one I ever heard. Boxing is a badass bitch you can't take home to mama, but you love her ass. Okay? But she don't show you no respect. None. She be stepping out with everybody all around town, even your enemies. That's boxing. Bruh. But back to Naji. To keep it funky with y'all, if y'all haven't noticed, well, I'm gonna draw attention to it. And after I say it, you gonna see it too. I've been paying attention to these so-called streamers or internetter tubers or whatever you want to call them. And it's something to do with streamers or people with high views, black content. It's something to do with black content creators interviewing and teaming up with racist people. Y'all haven't noticed that? And it's done so much, I can tell it's done on purpose because this can't be by calamity or coincidence. It can't be. These black people online or whatever you want to call it, they keep teaming up with racists. From boxers to this to that. And I'm like, what's the theme back here? And if you ask me, it looked like that's something that they handlers have them do to bring them into the fold. If they want to be up there with the top streamers and stuff like that. Because if you notice, all the top ones have done it. You know? To get there, to be big on YouTube, they all do some bucking shit. But that's just something I noticed. But the thing is, Naji interviewing him, I mean, the only person he disrespected at the end of the day, and I know some of y'all may be upset, but the truth of the matter is, the only person he didn't end up disrespecting at the end of the day is really himself. Yeah. See, today, Negroes is still selling out Negroes for 30 pieces of silver. So when you hanging from the rope and you looking down at the person that you thought was your friend, are you actually surprised anymore? I like when people do stuff like this now. You want to know why? Because they instantly show you who they are. Right after the Vlad situation and stuff like that, and Lord Jamar decided to stay over there with Vlad, didn't he instantly show you who he was? So you instantly don't have to fuck with him no more. He just outed his whole self to try to protect somebody. Well, that's all Naji doing. Because nobody's asked in the interview. Ryan hasn't done anything in boxing. And there's nobody that's going to think that interview is cool but some racist people. That's it. There's nothing else that you're trying to entertain. There's nothing else that he can say. There's nothing that he can do. All his conversation has to consist of directly other people, but not what he's directly going to do in boxing. Check this out. I haven't watched the interview, but I bet you he ain't talked about, okay, this is my plan. I'm going to try to fight this guy, get this title, blase. Most of his shit is always going to consist of, I wish I would, I could have, against all the people that you entertain to hear come out of his mouth. That's it. He be online saying shit just to stay relevant. Ryan stays relevant in boxing through conversation because at the end of the day, you're interviewing somebody who lost to Rolly Romero. This dude's supposed to be banned all over the fucking place. He's supposed to be too embarrassed to show his fucking face. How can he sit up on television and think that he can judge anybody? That's why I say, to me, Jake Paul's done more in boxing than Ryan Garcia. Sorry. And done more for boxing. Sorry. That's just the way it is. But Naji, at the end of the day, he just showing you what type of person he is and what time he on. He knows better than that. Listen, you don't think in the back of his head he knew that at some point that he was gonna get some backlash for what the hell he's doing? See, when they do that, they make a choice. Okay? And they're sending a signal out there who and what they're aligned with and what they're willing to do. Now, this is the thing. This is how you got to move. This is what says something about you. Now, if you choose to still embrace him, if you still to choose to support him, then you need to shut your mouth about trying to judge him, because you are still going to support that person at the end of the day, even though what they might have done may have pissed you off. At the end of the day, what you stand on has to mean something. If it don't mean nothing at the end of the day, then I can do anything I want to you and just tolerate seeing you upset for the momentary time. But in the end, you're going to be back on my side. If a person knew that about another person, there ain't nothing that person won't do to you, because they know eventually you'll be okay with it. Yeah, he'll yell at me at first. Yeah, he'll be there at first. But at the end of the day, if he still support me and I still achieve my bottom line, I can do whatever the hell I want. That's the price for not standing on business that y'all are notoriously known for. Y'all don't stand on fucking business, bro. And I hate to throw the brick through your window, but most brothers is like this. Believe it or not. You know, and I hate to throw a cocktail through that window right after this, but you know, the darker they get, usually the worse they are at this shit. To tell you the truth. Now, I ain't saying no light brights can't be no coons. You already know that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, in my experience, the ratio of coons versus light bright to browns, boy, dark people killing the Buttermilk Biscuit gang. I ain't causing no separation, just doing some analyzation. Understand me? So don't even go there. I'm just the man that has to say what nobody wants to say, because I'm surprised it ain't somebody else beside me that has said it, which proves my fucking point. So it is what it is out here, man.